guys, today I'm filming my second update for my makeup use up 2018. I am so excited because I have finished off quite a few products that I'm really excited to share with you this month. If you guys have not seen my intro or my first update, I will have my playlist linked up above so you can check those videos out as well. So if you guys are not familiar with my makeup use up, basically I had picked out certain products at the beginning of the year that I want to finish by the end of the year, and I would also like to finish an additional 50 makeup products. So I have got my makeup empties as well as my specific makeup use up items that I will be sharing with you guys, and we are going to start with my makeup use up empties. And the first thing would be the Marc Jacobs Pear perfume. And this line was where we were at my last update, and it's completely used up. This was super easy to use up. This is an Eau de Toilette, and it is a 3.4 fluid ounce bottle, so it is huge. I was using this every single day. This is an Eau de Toilette, and it also isn't a very strong scent. It doesn't last for a very long time on my skin, so I just go to town spraying this all over. And I would go in with a couple spritzes on the bed to just refresh that and make our room smell nice. Now, I can tell you I did not waste this. Part of me felt a little guilty about spraying it in the room, but because I was using it so much myself as well, mostly on myself, it didn't feel that wasteful. And even though this perfume is not very old, it smelled stale, which is why I really wanted to go through it. And I'm wondering if that's because it is an Eau de Toilette and it has so much water in it to begin with that it just goes stale quicker, because I have another perfume that I want to try to pan next year, and I can tell that one is already getting a little stale and it isn't old either. So I'll definitely keep that in mind. I don't want to buy any more Eau de Toilettes in the future. My skin rejects scents, so I need an Eau de Parfum that has a stronger scent and it's longer lasting. I need to spray it on my clothing as well as my body to actually be able to smell it throughout the day. So I feel really, really proud that I was able to finish this up, but it is not something I repurchased. I had previously thought this was a limited edition, but I'm pretty sure that I've been able to find it on Sephora. If you're interested, it smells really nice, but it's not something I would repurchase. And a couple of these makeup empties were also featured in my Project Tin Pan Spring Edition. I'll have that playlist linked up here. I have one more month to finish up a couple more items, but the first thing I have was in that project. This is the Lancome Le Base Pro Primer, and I was about here, I believe, when I put it into my spring project, but it is completely used up. This is your basic silicone primer. It feels slippery, but it doesn't make me too oily, but I like that it makes my foundation glide on really easily, but it really does not do much for my skin to blur pores, to oil control, or to help my foundation last longer. So for that reason, I will not repurchase it. The next thing I finished was the CoverGirl Clean Matte BB Cream in the shade 510 Fair. Too dark, too pink, and it oxidizes, which always happens to me with CoverGirl foundations. This did give a solid medium coverage, which is impressive for a BB cream. This held up against my oil decently well, but not as good as I would be expecting for something that is supposed to be matte. So if you have more of a normal skin type and you like a matte finish, I think you would enjoy this. But if you are super oily like me, it is not going to do enough to control your oil. I also wish this gave more coverage, and I didn't find that this built upon itself very well, and it just looked like I had piled on too much product. So I'm really happy I used this up, but it is not something I'll repurchase. My next product I finished is the Rimmel #InstaFix in Matte Powder. This is a translucent shade. You can see the pan was super thin. I blew through this so quickly just using it to set my entire face. It was a very, very smooth powder, but it didn't do anything to help keep me matte. It didn't give any coverage, of course, because it was translucent, so it's not something that I would repurchase. And the next two things I finished are my Pixi Hydrating Milky Mist, which I was using as a primer spray, and I was right there at my last update. And I also finished the Makeup Fixing Mist. I was using it as a setting spray, and I was right there at my last update. Towards the end of this, I was using it both as a primer and a setting spray to get through it a little bit quicker. And I did enjoy these sprays. I think that they smelled nice, they felt nice on my skin, but I did not notice them really doing anything for me. I told you guys plenty of times makeup setting sprays and facial sprays don't do anything for me. And I do have a couple more Pixi sprays that I'm going to be trying to work through that I received in PR, so I will not be repurchasing them. My next thing I finished is the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Zulu. It's an amazing mint green. It is completely used up. I absolutely love this liner. For a pastel mint, it's actually very opaque. This liner does more have a dry formula, so it would not work well in the upper lash line, but in your waterline or your lower lash line, it is going to draw on pretty easily and it is going to stay in place. I have very watery eyes, so most eyeliners smudge on me terribly, like the Urban Decay 24/7 liners, but this is amazing and I'm really disappointed this shade has been discontinued because I would do anything to have this back in my life, but I do feel really happy I was able to finish a liner. My last item is the most exciting. I finished up my MAC Sheen Supreme lipstick in Asian Flower, a beautiful pink tone purple. This was the oldest lipstick in my collection. It was from July 2013, I believe, so very, very old. This was an even better version of a Revlon lip butter because it gave full coverage. It had a little bit of a thicker consistency, so it lasted on your lips, but it didn't feel heavy. This also had a beautiful shine, which made your lips look juicier. This particular shade did leave a stain behind, which made the lip product fade more naturally and I could go longer before I had to reapply it. I'm very sad this is used up and the formula in general has been discontinued, which sucks because this is the only MAC lipstick I really like. So I'm sad to see this go. It's one of my holy grail lip products, but it's awesome. I finished up another lippy. Now I'm going to show you the progress on the other makeup use up items that I am still working on. The first item is the NYX Sculpt in Highlight Duo. I'm just trying to use up the Ivory shade. Now this is a little bit too dark, but also way too peachy for me, so I'm using this as an under eye corrector. For the past 2 months, I've been using a Maybelline product to test that out to review, which I did mention in a rediscovered makeup favorites hits and misses video, so I will have that linked up here. But now I am back to using this and I'm going to try to focus on this, use it every single day until I use it up, which I think is going to take a while because after I took out the stopper, I realized there is a ton of product in here. So I think this is going to take me a really, really long time, but I think that it works really well as a corrector. My next item would be the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So I told you guys my goal was just to hit pan on this. I did that by the last update, but as you can see, I have expanded the pan since then. I will insert a picture from last update as well as this update so you can see how much progress I have made. So I absolutely love this bronzer. It is my go-to for the springtime. So I'm going to continue using this throughout the rest of May, but as soon as June 1st hits, I'm going to start using my summer bronzer. So in the next update, I'll show you what progress I made from now until then. But after next update, I'm not going to continue showing you this item in these updates because I have already technically hit my goal. My next item is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. This is just a little mini highlight. My goal is to hit pan on this. I have not used it yet because it is much too dark for my skin tone, but I will be focusing on this during the summertime. And at the end of May, I am going on a cruise with Justin, so I'm hoping to get a little bit of color, and it would be nice if I got a little bit of tan instead of just sunburn. So I'm hoping that because I'm getting my summer color started early, that I can start using that highlight earlier, and I probably will end up mixing that with some other lighter highlights to make it work for my skin, but my goal is just to hit pan, so hopefully by next update, I'll have a little bit of progress to share with you. My next item is the MAC Eyeshadow in Omega, which I'm using as a brow powder. It's a really great, very light cool tone powder, awesome for cool tone blondes. And at my last update, I had repressed it, and as you can see, I have hit pan on it again, which is super exciting. So I'm going to insert a picture of what it looked like last update and what it looks like now. And when I repressed this, I expected it to be a lot softer, and it really wasn't. It stayed its consistency, which I guess is a good thing, but I was hoping I'd be able to work through it a lot quicker. But because I have already hit pan on it again, it gives me hope that I might be able to finish this by the end of the year. So my next item is my Maybelline Color Tattoo in the shade Barely Beige. It is just a champagne eye base, and I have used it a couple times since my last update. I'm not sure if you'll be able to notice the progress. I didn't take a picture last time, but I'll try to be better about doing that. But as I told you guys in my last update, after spring, which is when I've been sort of kind of using this, I'm gonna toss it because the last time I mixed it up, it's just way too thick and it's not performing exactly the same. And this is a shade that I don't use very much anymore because I don't really go with champagne lid shades, but hopefully I can make some good progress on that. But also next update will be the last time that you guys see that. My next color tattoo is in the shade Caramel Cool. This is something that I haven't touched at all, and I will be focusing on this one more in summer and fall. And then we have my eyeshadows. So for my spring project pan, I'm not working on any eyeshadows that are in my makeup use up. So I have not really made any progress on these, but all these shadows I plan on using in summer and fall, so hopefully the next couple updates you guys will see some good progress. The first eyeshadow I have is Makeup Geek Frappe. I put this in a project pan last year and made a really good dent in this, so I feel pretty confident I'll be able to hit pan on this sometime this year. And the other eyeshadows I have my makeup use up are all from Anastasia. I have 3 from the Modern Renaissance palette, Tempera, Raw Sienna, and Burnt Orange. I would like to hit pan on all of those, and I have not worn any of them yet. And from the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario, I want to hit pan on Isabel, and I have not used this one yet either. Then I have a couple of eyeliners. The first is the Marc Jacobs Highliner Gel Crayon in the black shade. I have not used this one at all since my last update because I was focusing on my ColourPop liners, and I did, however, make some good progress on my ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Prance, which is a periwinkle blue. I am hoping to have this finished off by June 1st. I'm hoping to finish it in my spring project. That is all that I have left. So if I use this basically every single day, I think I can do it, but I will be cutting it very close. And I was planning on repurchasing this shade because this one was still available on the website, but just recently it sold out, and I'm afraid that they won't be restocking it. And I love these liners so much that is very disappointing for me. And all the rest of the items are lip products. I haven't used them at all because since my last update, I was just focusing on my MAC Sheen Supreme lipstick. These products I do plan on using during the summer and fall. So I have the MAC Patent Polish Lip Pencils and Go For Girly and Fearless I plan on using in the summer. For fall, I have a whole bunch of things here. The Tarte's Lip Pencil in the shade Later Graham. The Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in Driver's Seat. The Tarte's Glossy Lip Paint in Avi, which is just an opaque, warm nude lip gloss. And lastly, I have the NARS Audacious Lipstick in Raquel. And like I said, all 4 of those I'm going to try to use in the fall. That's a lot of lip products for one season, but we'll see what I can do. But I feel really accomplished. I was able to finish up a MAC lipstick and feel hopeful about the rest of these lippies. So not including the items in my makeup use up, I was able to finish off an additional 12 makeup products within these past 2 months, which I think is pretty dang good. Some of these empties were also in my current spring project 10 pan. The first item is the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. I do really like this for a mattifying primer because it doesn't feel too sticky. It also isn't really slippery. I like the texture of it. However, I don't think it does that much to actually mattify my skin. I would love to get another deluxe sample size of this, but I don't see myself repurchasing it because it just didn't do enough for me. I finished a deluxe sample size of the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing Primer. So this used to be my holy grail #1 pore minimizing primer, and I had tried quite a few, but recently I tried the Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer. It's so much better. This is a little bit of a thick and drying consistency. That one is very thin, but it still somehow extremely blurs my pores. It works well with all other primers and moisturizers, and sometimes depending on the moisturizer I use, this one would ball up on my skin. So I used to really love this one, but I won't be repurchasing it anymore because I think the Dr. Brandt works so much better. I was able to finish one foundation. This is the Hard Candy Glamouflage in the shade Porcelain. You guys know this is my #1 mixing foundation. I usually go through 1 bottle a year. You can get these from Walmart. I love the shade Porcelain because it is very fair and a little bit yellow tone. It's my perfect mixer. This by itself does give a medium coverage. It has a satin finish. I do like this foundation formula, but as a mixer it is perfect. I have found that this mixes well with literally every other single foundation I've mixed it with. I did already repurchase. I will have this in my life forever and ever. It is a holy grail to me. The next thing I finished is probably the item I'm the most excited about. I finished the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer Cream in the Whiteout shade. I thought it was going to take me so much longer to use it up. I took out the stopper and everything. You definitely get your money's worth out of this concealer, especially if you're using it as a mixer. It lasted me a very long time, but because so many of my other concealers are too dark for me, this worked really well to mix it in. This is very, very opaque, so you don't need a ton of this. And right now I'm using the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the whiteout shade. I think that one works just as well as this, but that comes with a lot less product, and I can see myself going through that one so much quicker. So it really just depends for you which one is more accessible, which one you think is going to last longer, formula you like better or brand you like better. Up to you. I think for now I'm gonna continue using the ColourPop, see how long it lasts me, and then determine from there which one I want to repurchase. But I do think it is a nice product to have in my collection because I will get proper use out of it. Now, if you're someone that doesn't think you would use a white concealer that often, but you want to have one just for those moments, then it probably be best to use the ColourPop. My next item I finished is very sad. This is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC15. So there is still product in here, but it will not pump out. Now, Cherish has posted videos on how to take off the top. I'm very afraid. I don't have the tool she used, and I'm afraid I'm going to break it and get glass everywhere. So for me, I've gotten my money's worth. This lasted me forever. I love using this to conceal blemishes under eyes, to help cover redness on my cheeks. It's my perfect shade. It gives really nice, oh my gosh. This gives a really nice full coverage. It has more of a satin finish. I definitely will repurchase that one. I absolutely enjoy it. It is a holy grail product to me. Speaking of holy grail products, the next thing I finished was a little 100 point perk size of the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. I did not want to love this, but I absolutely do. It is my #1 under eye setting powder. Because I have very oily under eyes, I can use a more mattifying powder like this. It makes my under eyes look so smooth and perfected. I already repurchased this in the travel size. Absolutely love it. The next item I finished, I also feel pretty proud of, and this is the NYC Smooth Skin Loose Face Powder. I received this as a gift from Erin's Makeup Euphoria. I took out the sifter and everything. I really like using a big translucent loose setting powder to set my face because I don't mind using a ton of this product. It sets my skin nicely. It doesn't give any color or coverage, and it doesn't really mattify me, but I don't want to buy a high-end translucent loose powder unless it's the Laura Mercier. So I wish NYC was still available in the United States because I would absolutely repurchase this because, like I said, I love setting my face with this all over and then maybe take a light dusting of a colored powder. So I would actually repurchase this. I have one more powder I used up. This is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Powder in the shade number 10 Porcelain. It doesn't look like you get a ton of product in here, but you actually do. This is an amazing powder or a powder foundation. This gives a great amount of color and coverage. It did help mattify me a bit. This is actually a new holy grail product of mine, and I definitely will repurchase this. I actually just recommended this to someone who was looking for a powder foundation, and they absolutely loved it. My next item is something I'm also really proud of. This was the Anastasia eyeshadow in blush. It was just a champagne shade, and I actually use this as a cheekbone highlighter instead of as a shadow. I used it up so much quicker that way, but I never would have used this as a shadow, so I feel really happy to have another eyeshadow completely used up from this Anastasia Tomato palette. The next thing I finished was a deluxe sample size of the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner. This is a felt tip applicator. I do enjoy this, but it doesn't last as long as I would like. If I was going to pick a high-end liquid liner to purchase, it would be the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner because it does have a brush tip. Both of them are very opaque matte finish. The next item I finished was a mascara. This is the Rimmel Lash Accelerator. This was also mentioned in my Rediscovered Makeup Favorites video. This has a natural bristle brush that is shaped like a diamond. This gives awesome length, volume, makes your lashes very, very black. It does help separate them a bit too. This is a very wet formula, so I would recommend having this open for a couple weeks, let it dry out a bit, and then use it. I would definitely repurchase this. I think this is a very good mascara, and it is like an all-in-one. The last thing I finished was this Essential Oils lip balm that my mom and sister had made for me using essential oils, and it was really nice. I have a couple more of these that they had gifted me that I'm going to try to use up. I've been using these as my around the house lip balm, and I do enjoy it, but I would rather use my EOS, even though I know this is better for me. I just love my EOS so much. So guys, that was my makeup use up update number 2. If you guys are doing a year-long project or any other project pans on your channel, I would love to know, because project pan videos are my absolute favorite to watch. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.